For the new strat, we'll be doing for Professor Putricide. It will, the benefits over previous strats will it allow us way more uptime on the boss and to kill the boss a lot faster. Um, the way it's gonna work is we will be lusting off the rip, and obviously all range will be pre-casting from the top of the circle. Then tank and melee will move in with melee at the table, boss facing towards the raid. When the first slime puddles come out, okay, more than likely there's gonna be one on the melee and one on the ranged. When these slime puddles come out, ranged, you guys can then move to this area over here, right? Ideally, you stack a little bit tighter, but you want to be like in this general area right here, right? We'll then push the boss. He'll phase. Double oozes will spawn. This slime puddle will be eaten by the abomination, and then this slime puddle will be used as like a battery for the off tank to generate energy until it is no longer needed. But slime puddles are going to spawn. So we have the green ooze, then we'll use this one for the red ooze. Okay. Um, yeah, when transition happens, everyone will keep hitting the boss until their assigned color comes into their range, right? So for ranged, they will turn and swap to their assigned oozes as they move in and closer to them. Well, then swap to your oozes, help kill them quickly. Melee will be staying on the boss until their ooze reaches them. Okay. So the way it's gonna work is people with the red debuff will hit the red, people with the green debuff will hit the green, and yeah, as the oozes start coming in, say it is a ranged that gets targeted by the red ooze. Say it's this healer here, right? This red ooze will always be slowed for its entire like first duration, right? So if you get targeted by this red ooze as a ranged, you can just stay, keep doing what you're doing until the ooze gets close to you, right? Okay. And as the ooze gets close to you, your job is once it gets close to you, you need to start moving. You want to always follow this desired path, and the slime will be moving with you, right? You want to drag it through the melee, right? And so that way, when the slimer reaches the melee, the assigned red melee, you can then peel off and stick to the red and help kill it, and therefore keep maximum uptime on the red and the boss. Okay, and basically just follow this assigned path the entire time, right? Um, yeah, and the ooze will just follow you around, and you'll keep it close to the area. We want to keep everything kind of confined in this area to keep a good uptime on both the bosses and the ooze, right? Ideally, the red ooze should be dying by the time it gets to right about here, or retargeting by the time it gets to right about here. If kited properly, it should end somewhere, when you're over here in this area. If it's a melee, just stick on the boss. Okay, as it comes in, just start moving away from it, right? Just don't let it catch you. It will be slowed. What you do not want to do is burn your boots on a red ooze that's not going to hit you, okay? There will there will possibly be times where the red is not slowed because it was not killed fast enough. That's okay, as long as you have your boots up, right? So just save your boots. Don't panic. If you get targeted by the red ooze, you know what to do. You just follow the path, right? Okay. Whatever you do, just don't panic. The red ooze won't hit you as long as you're paying attention and watching it, right? Um, and then yeah, range and melee will swap to their assigned oozes as they come in. Um, yeah, if the green ooze comes into ranged, the plan obviously is for it to come in, then knock everybody into the wall, right? What can happen though is it can target a melee first and then go to ranged. If this happens, just try to get knocked either towards the table or into the wall as best as you can. You just don't want to get knocked over here, right? Because if it knocks you over there and it targets you, you're dead, right? No one's gonna be able to save you. Um, yeah, green will not be slowed on the first intermission, so it's important that we're getting knocked to good spots to help ensure that it is dying quickly as well, right? Um, yeah, and then for the second transition, it'll be just pretty much the same thing. Range is more than likely going to be stacked like up here though, towards the top of the room again. That's fine, as long as you guys are getting knocked towards the table and still kiting the red ooze as, directed before. They should both be slowed on the second transition though, right? And we're not gonna slow this first green ooze that spawns after transition. Instead, we'll just kill it. We should easily have the DPS to push the boss before we even get a red ooze outside of transition. So second transition will happen. Both oozes will be slowed. Second transition should be very easy, very free, as long as we're swapping and killing the oozes, okay? The important thing for second transition is that these melee don't, not all the melee should be running out to soak this green, okay? What you want to do is when the range are up here, when the ooze is getting to these ranged, any melee with the green debuff are coming in and help soaking it, right? And everyone's getting knocked towards the table as a group, right? Um, yeah, and then from that point, we just kill the oozes, easy peasy, win the game. And boss should be like sub 20% by the time he even phases. So phase 3 itself, we shouldn't need any taunt swaps or anything. Boss should really just fall over and die. Yeah, so the plague is just gonna be done with the um remember like the early strats of Putricide, they talked about there's two ways to handle the plague. You did like either groups or you did YOLO style, right? This will be done YOLO style. If plague spawns in either group, just ignore it. The plague is just basically everyone's staying stacked. Plague is being ignored for basically the majority of the fight. Um, if at some point, we can pass it from like say it starts off in melee, one of the melee can pass it to the range group, preferably like halfway through. That would is most ideal because then at that point the plague is pretty much over, right? Um, 30 seconds bouncing around in a group of, you know, 12 people is nothing. It won't even be scary at all, right? Yeah, that's pretty much it.